I'm outside the Scottish Parliament with, what's your name, sir?
My name's Mark.
Mark, with Mark, and you're from Extinction Rebellion, sir?
That's right.
And what's happening today? Could you just tell us a wee bit about what is the situation? Why are you guys out today?
Yeah, so we're here because BP are hosting a private event here today, and they've invited MSPs to have dinner with them and discuss, well, basically so that BP can showcase how they're going to, or how they're claiming they're going to achieve net zero in Scotland, whilst also extracting massive amounts of oil and gas.
Now, do you believe in zero emissions, or just to reduce the emissions? What's the Extinction Rebellion sort of thing on the CO2 emissions?
I mean, I think broadly speaking, Extinction Rebellion believes that we need to follow the climate science, and we need to drive down CO2 emissions as rapidly as possible, and that means leaving fossil fuels in the ground.
Now, there's also plastics that are taken from obviously fossil fuels as well, which are used in a lot of various applications and are still required. So even if they weren't being used as fuel, there might be a requirement to use some other things. Would you agree? And the ability to renew the plastics, like an ability to do renewables without taking more out, have a more effective renewable system. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anyone in Extinction Rebellion is proposing that we stop recycling or...
No, I'm saying actually hype it up so it's more efficient. I'm saying that, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. I'm saying it's maybe not as efficient as it potentially could be.
Yeah, for sure, yeah.
I think the Greens were actually speaking about, I think Miss Lorna Slater was actually talking about to improve the renewables and how to renew existing things as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think the key thing we're here today to expose is that the fossil fuel industry are in bed with the government, and when you have private meetings where which are kind of kept secret. I mean, we only found out about this because somebody leaked a private email. You know, how can we ever reach net zero when we have fossil fuels in bed with the government? Well,
my question for you would be, China didn't turn up to the COP26, and China is the highest polluter. If it's CO2, if we're only talking about CO2 just now, I'm not saying, I wouldn't even say polluter, but the highest emitter of CO2. They've got something like 9 billion cubic tons per year, followed by India, America, then followed by India. And China didn't even turn up. Yeah. And even if we got to net zero here, it's still going to be a fraction of the 9 billion tons that's coming from China alone, not to mention America and India.
Yeah. I suppose the first thing is to think about where, I mean, that China's emissions are our emissions, because we buy so much stuff from China. You know, we don't manufacture in the UK really anymore, so we can't just treat that as someone else's problem. We're part of that. So
yeah, I agree. But if China are not even going to come, see we they're building coal burning energy generating things, a lot of them. Yep. If you could give them technology that will reduce the emissions of the CO2 from these, that might be a good thing that we could work with China with.
Yeah, I mean, China already has more renewable capacity than more wind turbine. Wind farms are being built in China than in any other part of the world, I believe. And but yeah,
I think they also got the army to build a forest as well, which was quite interesting as well. They replanted a full forest.
But I think, yeah, I mean, you can sort of look at other countries and say, well, they're not acting, so why should we? But you know, we're in an emergency, and it requires everybody to treat it like an emergency.
Yeah, but my question is though, if the highest polluter or the highest emitter isn't doing anything, even if we got to net zero, even if full of the UK got to net zero, it's still only going to be because we've halved our emissions. It's only going to be a drop in the bigger bucket if China are not prepared to do that.
We've maybe halved our reported territorial emissions, but that's not the same as genuine emissions. Like so the UK's actual carbon footprint, if you want to calculate that properly, you need to include consumption emissions, which is all the stuff we buy that doesn't tend to get reported. But if you include that, then actually emissions haven't dropped anywhere near as much as half.
Mark, so, I know you're going to go to the thing. Listen, guy, you've done really well. Thank you very much, and welcome to Guerrilla.
Thank you.
You were very educational. I don't think it was anything badly said there at all for either one of us. Thanks very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.